Hi, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about what is fear and what does fear cause you to do. We've all felt it in our life. So we'll talk about the meaning of the word fear, some of the effects that fear has on you and your life, and some of the different responses that we have to fear. And we're excited to explore this scary topic.
When we begin to look at fear, it was interesting as I looked back at the root words and the way that it was used in the beginning. I was surprised that it was actually thought of as something that was meant to try or risk. It was that kind of fear, that it was like that they recognized that was when that would show up for them, as when they were trying something new or risking. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
And fear is a normal reaction, a normal emotion. We all have those things. And so, what does it look like in our breathing patterns? What kinds of things does our body do as we have fear? I think when it comes to breathing, two things I can think of. One is fast, super fast
Yes.
breathing. Depending on if I'm running, I'm fast.
Yeah.
Tires
You're
after you,
gonna
and I'm fearful.
hyperventilate.
Yeah, you're gonna hyperventilate, or you're going to freeze and
Yeah.
maybe not breathe at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So the breathing is really, if we can tune into our breathing, maybe we can kind of move into that and stop ourselves from holding our breath or from breathing
Yes.
quickly with a deep cleansing breath.
Yeah.
Tension in the body. Where is tension in the body for fear?
I feel it here.
Chest.
Do
Kind
you?
of, yeah, more in my chest. Just, yeah. You get
Like you're literally just holding your breath.
holding. Yeah, that's probably where it came from. And protecting
Yeah.
protecting
true.
our core and kind
Yeah.
of protecting that source of our heart, that and tension in the body, as well as that heartbeat. So the heartbeat becomes
Yeah.
quick,
The rapid heartbeat.
rapid heartbeat in fear. And what do our eyes do?
Oh, my palms go sweaty. Do you?
Great idea.
Just
Yes.
thinking about fear, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that is really, yeah. Which is interesting because we always think of fear as in something bad is happening, but standing up in front of a crowd, nothing bad is happening. But
Yeah.
that's the number one fear. I think.
Yeah.
I think
public speaking.
Yeah, I think I read it's people are more afraid of public speaking than dying. So the person giving the eulogy is more fearful than the person in the casket.
Right, that's right.
We're more fearful of him than the casket.
Oh, that's funny.
And so that's a kind of fear that is just one of those awesome human things
Yeah.
that we all kind of can connect and understand to.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's where you get the sweaty palms, is more of that kind of fear. And
Definitely.
so we have to understand when fear is a motivator and helps us to act, and when we can become stuck, because
Yeah.
another word for fear is to be cautious. So I'm cautiously locking my door at night, right? So there's a little bit of fear in that, but because otherwise, it's all fine, come, there's no, that
Yeah.
doesn't work for me. I'm not that kind of person that's going to just allow that. I'm going to
Yeah.
lock my door
Yeah.
at night. So there's a piece of fear in there, that maybe is something that's healthy, maybe.
Well, and even I think that's a precaution for danger.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Avoiding the fear, maybe.
avoiding dangerous circumstances, and that can be very rational.
Right,
too.
very rational, even though it's cousin to fear,
Yeah.
it's kind of cousin
Yeah.
to fear. But many times we move into fear too deeply and it becomes our state of being.
Yes.
And in this day and age, that's becoming just so common for people to
Yes.
get stuck in their fear or anxiety, is what we
Yes.
would call it.
Oh, for sure.
And we need to understand it a little better, because it's causing some trouble in our society.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do today, is kind of really explore fear.
Right. What fear's doing to us. Well, I remember I had one of those scary experiences in my life where I took on creating something that was bigger than my knowledge of how to do it, and I had so many fears show up during that time, so many fears. But I remember one day as I was just expressing my doubt and fear and worry and concern to God, um, what He said to me, what I felt I heard, was that fear will limit your ability to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that really made me sit back and think, because I didn't realize fear was stopping me from possibility. But that was a powerful message that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it was true, because if I'm afraid this will never work, then I'm not open to the possibilities of what will make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So fear limits our ability to see. Fear disconnects us from our strength and our power. I would say oftentimes fear disconnects us from our heart as well. Fear connects us oftentimes from the divinity in us, our divine source of strength and power. And fear really stops us from moving forward a lot of times. We're so afraid of the possible outcomes, we just don't even take that step.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to call it out, you know, to recognize fear and see it for what it is, and see what it's doing in our life, because a lot of times we're letting that fear stop us from creating the life we actually want to live. And one of my favorite YouTube videos is by Amaletto, and it's called Regrets. And he's an amazing preacher of sorts. But one of the most powerful things of that video he's taught is that when people die, what they are most sad about, or when they're getting to that point, what they really regret are not the things that they did, but the things that they didn't do. And I think most of the times those things that we don't do, we are stopped in our tracks by our own fear.
For sure. I think fear is something that we have heard that there's only fear or love. There's two core emotions, fear or love. And what's interesting, so you have anger. Well, a lot of times fear motivates the anger, or you have grief, and then that fear of never seeing that person again, or not being able to find another job if we've lost that, something that we've lost. It's really the fear of that is what's causing it. So fear is the opposite of love.
Absolutely.
And so they say we can narrow it all down to fear. So it's a big one to learn to recognize within yourself. How does fear show up to you physically is good, because then it helps us trigger, and then we can go to our thoughts to see what are the thoughts that are coming up that are showing me that are not true, that are running the system to keep me in this feeling of fear. And then always move into that spiritual part to help combat that, and we'll talk about that in the next episode, how to overcome fear. But it's important to learn about fear and what and it helps to identify what you particularly hold fear inside of you. We want to continue to process these emotions, because we all have them. We all have them, but we need them to process through and to help our lives propel forward, instead of being stuck there in that fear.
And I just want to say, here's a little positive spin on fear before we end. But to me, when I'm trying to do something new, it goes back to that root word of risk, or to try. A lot of times in my life, if I'm faced with a possibility of something I could create or something I could try and do, and when I think about that, if I get that little chill or that shrill feeling of fear inside of me, I know that is something that's going to make me grow. And I remember one time my daughter said, "Hey Mom, do you want to try this with me?" And it was something new I'd never done, and instantly I felt that fear. And so my immediate response was, no. I might die. No. And then I thought, I haven't had anything in a long time that made me feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is scary. This is going to be good. I'm going to grow.
Yeah.
And so I said, yes, let's do it. I haven't been scared in a long time.
I love it.
So recognize that fear does show us where we might be short in what we feel we need to have to accomplish something or try something new. But that can also be an indicator of a place where you're ready to grow, and you can get your courage on and give it a try. So we're going to, as Michelle said, our next episode we'll talk about how to overcome your fears so that you can take those risks that you want to take in your life.